Rooster Teeth is definitely not the company that they started out as, which is understandable considering they've been around for decades at this point. Any company that's been consistently putting out content for that long will have to change with the times, otherwise their stuff will get stale. But it's looking like a lot of the creative decisions they've been making with the company have not been for the benefit of not only the company, but for the creative quality of the content itself. And that's why we're getting news like this coming from this email that was sent out by the general manager, and this is shared on Reddit. I'll leave a link to this letter in the description of this video if you want to check it out yourself. But here's what it has to say about their upcoming Rooster Teeth Expo, or RTX, for 2024. Traditionally, the end of the year is when we share an announcement about RTX badge sales and important dates. However, I'm sorry to inform you that we will not be hosting RTX in 2024. We have every intention of resuming RTX in the future and bringing everyone back together. This letter goes on to talk about how RTX has never been profitable for them, and that's why they're kind of putting this pause on it, because not only has it not been profitable, but as the years have gone by, it's been growing in scale and the losses have been getting bigger each year. But you would think it'd be growing in scale because your audience would be growing with you, and with your audience growth, so should profits, or at least that's how you would think it would be going. But if it's been growing and the loss has been growing too, then that usually indicates that the company is trying to expand faster than they can build up their audience. And if that's the situation, then it does make sense to kind of put a pause on things and reevaluate, like, what are we doing? Could we scale this back and kind of stay more in line with our audience, because what we're doing isn't working? But you got to understand too, if let's say you have a period of steep audience growth, and then all of a sudden your audience drops off, well, then you might continue, like your expos, for instance, continue on like this. Meanwhile, your audience has already dropped off. And then at that point, you need to reevaluate, like, what can we actually do to make money from the audience members that we have? Because we had a lot of people drop off, and it's looking like that's actually the situation here, because he talks about this in the letter later on, how they can't make it happen without direct support from the audience. As in the ad revenue from sites like YouTube or things like that just aren't cutting it for them anymore. And we got this announcement from back in October. I'm not going to go into too much detail in this because I'm sure a lot of people already know this story right now, but it was basically put out from an announcement video by Kerry Shawcross, who's a showrunner over at Rooster Teeth for shows like Red vs. Blue and Ruby. And during that video where he was saying that they're putting a lot of their back catalog, taking it off of YouTube and putting it onto their website, because they make 5 to 10 times more in ad revenue on their own website versus on YouTube. And this is what he had to say in that video. YouTube revenue is just not cutting it for us right now. It just doesn't make sense to have our whole back catalog on YouTube anymore. Animation's hard and it's expensive. Ultimately, it's about making sure that your support is going as far as it can go. He then tries to drive people to their website for $5.99 a month for the paid tier, but you don't have to watch the paid tier. You can watch the free tier. It's ad supported at that point, but they make more in ad revenue. And the reason they're probably not making money on their YouTube page anymore is just the simple fact that people aren't watching their YouTube page. You can look at it. I mean, it has over 9 million subscribers and they're getting like no views on their videos. You would think they would be making like 100, 200, 300,000 views a video for a channel with this size. And look at this. I mean, 7,000 views, 32,000 views. Let's scroll down a little bit. Time. 5-month-old video, 15,000 views, 7.5 thousand. So yeah, they're not getting people to watch it. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that people are probably subscribed from years ago for like Red versus Blue. And actually, I'm one of those people myself on my personal YouTube page. I had to look at that when I saw this story, and I realized, like, oh yeah, I'm still subscribed because I used to watch Red versus Blue all the time. Actually, there was a period where I was a paid subscriber on their website, and then I just kind of canceled it after some time, and then I never canceled my YouTube subscription, or never unsubscribed, as I should say. And there wasn't necessarily like a defining moment where I was like, I'm never watching their stuff again. It was just kind of the original creators of Red vs. Blue took a backseat to some of the newer people when the company was expanding, and the content just didn't appeal to me because I came for Red vs. Blue, and the new stuff they're putting out, I didn't personally care for. So yeah, I mean, that's that. I just gradually stopped watching them until I stopped even getting into my YouTube feed. Now, if I was to see this stuff in my YouTube feed, I wouldn't even recognize it as Rooster Teeth. I mean, just look at the logo alone. I wouldn't have known that was Rooster Teeth if I saw that logo on something like that. So I think that's kind of the biggest issue, is they started off as one thing and they were trying to transition into something else. And it really wasn't a smooth transition, and they're trying to grow too quickly with it, and they outpaced their audience. And now it's come to find out it's unsustainable for them. And people now have kind of turned away from what they've been doing. Cause like myself, I didn't know I was still subscribed to them. And then you see this kind of stuff coming across your timeline, if you do see it, and be like, yeah, I haven't watched this stuff in years, so I'm going to unsubscribe. And the last few years have been nothing but negative growth for them. So yeah, it makes sense that they're trying to get as much money out of the actual audience that they have, which is to bring them over to their website. They're going to cancel their big events, which is not going to help them with their core audience, because those are the people who are going to go to it. But still, they need to save money in some way, shape, or form. And this is just more of a indicator that the company is on its way out. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be shuttering the doors in the next couple of years or anything like that. I mean, I think what we're going to see is more contraction of the company. It's just going to keep shrinking until it eventually fizzles out, which, yeah, that just happens. But, or maybe they're just going to get bought out by someone else and it's going to be changed up even more or something like that. But that's just kind of how things are with this sort of thing. And it is sad to see something like this happen. But I mean, I still have my DVD box sets of the original Red versus Blue, and that's not going to change. So, just accept that companies come and go, and Rooster Teeth is no different.